Okay, first of all, my name is Samuel McBee, and I'm here at Zuccotti Park where the birth of the protest began 10 weeks ago. Now, the beginning of this protest, I was here the first week at the beginning, and I noticed there's only about 50 of us here at the time. I noticed some drumming going on, I noticed some signs, so my protest was anti-war. I'm against the war of Iraq and Afghanistan. Over 7,000 American soldiers lost their lives since 9/11. Over 950,000 civilians lost their lives since 9/11. And there's been over $5.9 trillion spent since 9/11. Now, 10 years later, Bin Laden is dead, and we're still paying $2 billion a week with tax money for this war in Iraq and Afghanistan, which will never end. Ever since the 9/11 attack, it created a war that will not end. Not in our lifetime.
The situation right now here in Zuccotti Park.
Well, obviously, as you can see, it's not super lively here at Zuccotti Park, but the movement's spread out a lot. So there are still nightly meetings, General Assembly meetings, generally taking place at around 7 o'clock. Sometimes they're here, but a lot of the action is taking place at 60 Wall Street in an open atrium. And there are also offices that have been bought, actually, believe it or not, here in the financial district, which are taking on more operational purposes. So the movement is evolving and growing and changing, but we are seeing less demonstrations and more behind-the-scenes work taking place at this time.
We have outreach programs that are on the websites, OWS websites. If you look it up, there's many different websites. You can join an organization. Any outreach group that you may want to join, you can join. They have the General Assembly working group, they have the media working group, the info working group. Right now, they're trying to do something for the shelter, for homes.
And where do the meetings take place in?
Over on 60 Wall Street.
Okay.
That's where the meetings take place all through the day. Like right now, there's something going on there right now. There's a meeting going on as I speak.
Okay, so they're public meetings.
So yes, we're outreaching to communities. Yeah. The only violence in this park is caused by NYPD. Bloomberg's 50,000 strong soldiers.
Yeah, the National Defense Authorization Act, which is just, I mean, there's one every year. It's just paying for our insanely bloated military budget, which is, like with the Iraq War and Pentagon is actually like more than half of our operating budget, or like really scary, stupidly large amounts of money.
You're going to realize that you cannot support your family off the minimum wage at $7.25 an hour while all American expenses continue to rise. Okay, you have politicians that are paying less taxes than their secretaries pay. That's just not justice. Education is $30,000 to $50,000 a year to go to college. We're not guaranteed a job after 4 years of college, but you are guaranteed to be paying back credit for the next 10 years. So it's not fair to lower class people the way the 1% control and make their laws as they go. So that's some of the reasons why I protest. Banks just got bailed out again, another $7.7 trillion. The question is, when are they going to bail out the lower class people and raise minimum wage? Make the millionaires pay more taxes like they should. Create more jobs, like factories. There's over 14 million Americans that are unemployed right now, the most ever.
The United States, like, we have a lot, I mean, we have a lot of stuff, like, in terms of free speech and stuff, like, even other first world countries don't have. I'm a proud American, and it's just being taken away, like, step by step. Everyone is so afraid, and originally really willing to give their rights away, because, like, September 11th could have been this really unifying moment in history, and instead the Patriot Act, which was written long before September 11th, that was just a great time to pass it. It's like I mean, pages and pages and pages of text. It wasn't written in a few weeks or like a few months or even a year. I mean, they had that ready to go, and September 11th was an opportunity to force that legislation through while everyone is worried. It's like Naomi Klein's shock doctrine. It's like when people are afraid, that's when you can convince them to do things that are not in their best interests.
Were you here when the police came and told you that you couldn't?
Yes, I was here when they ambushed us at 2:30 in the morning. They didn't give us no time to get our stuff together and leave. They did spray people in the face with mace. They did hit people with their billy clubs, batons. There was not much resisting arrest. It was more like, you know, we felt home here like a home, you know, people were living here. A lot of homeless did come here, and maybe that's what it takes to start a protest, is people that are in a lower class to realize what it's like to go through trials and tribulations. But the answer to your question is yes, I was here, and there's a lot of police brutality. There's a lot of lawsuits now pending, suing NYPD, and they didn't have to ambush us like they did. They could have gave us more time to get our things, and they could have did it during the day when there was media, when the news was around. They did it in the middle of the night when there was no reports around. They still ended up reporting it and showing it on TV. They were busting people's things. If you went to the storage room where they had everybody's stuff, you'll see how much things got destroyed by the police.
So now you're not allowed to camp out here anymore?
No camping here.
And when did they
They put these barricades up maybe a week after the eviction of Zuccotti Park. And we're going to court now trying to get these barricades removed. It'll take some time. It's like court. Things take time when you go to court. You know that.
Well, I mean, it's directly relevant, and you know, when you look at the Occupy movement out here, it's only one brand of global demonstrations taking place. Italy is another example of this overall model we're seeing in so many different countries, either across Europe or across any part of the globe, which is that you have these incredibly powerful, wealthy politicians basically in bed with the business community and basically footing the bill to average citizens, working class citizens, and you have people who are being cut out of the democratic process in one form or another. So whether it be in the Italian example of just a blatant appointment of someone who's taking charge who is not democratically elected, or whether it be here in the US where lobbying groups have so much power over the current politicians that they represent those constituents over the actual voting public.
As far as voting, this is our new vote, ladies and gentlemen. Occupy. Protesters is a new vote.
Protest of the world, you know, we're seeing people rising up and saying enough is enough, and you know, it may not change things overnight, but there's a momentum that's starting, and there's an awakening that's taking place that's pretty exciting, I think. So.
Protesting ended the Vietnam War in 1974. I am right on that. I might not have been alive, but I got educated by men that were in the Vietnam War. So I know if protesting ended that war, protesting can end this war again. And if protesting don't end it, it might not ever be ended in our lifetime.